This meeting is being recorded.
Welcome, everyone. I'm so happy you're here. It is Tuesday night, February the 14th, and I want to wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day. I am so glad that you're here. I hope you have been recognized by your sweetie and that you are recognizing your sweeties, and tell people in your life how much you love them and that you are being loved too. So I want to dive right on in here. I do want to make everyone aware of this month's monthly promos with Young Living. That if you order 100 PV on Loyalty Rewards, that's our monthly subscription program, you will get 10 Loyalty Rewards points. That's like $10 to be used towards free stuff. If you order 190 PV in one order, you're going to get the Luscious Lemon hand lotion. And this stuff is wonderful. You know, it comes in the hand soap and in an oil, but the foaming hand soap, and then this is the lotion. And if your order is on Loyalty Rewards, you get those rewards points, plus you get the Bloom essential oil. It is the same scent as in the Bloom skincare line, and this makes a wonderful perfume. You just put, in a roller ball, about 10 drops or so, and then fill it up with a carrier oil, and it makes a wonderful perfume that you can take with you and use. But that is only available if you order on the Loyalty Rewards program. At the 250 PV mark, you're going to get all of that, plus the Illuminize supplement. And it is great, especially if you're on your computer all the time with that blue light that affects you. It's supposed to help with that. So check out Illuminize. And at the 300 PV mark, where did it go? Is the coconut and lime replenishing body butter. And it smells wonderful. Coconut and lime is a great thing. So some great deals, freebies for this month. So, okay, we're going to move on right into the program here. I've got a PowerPoint here I'm going to pull up, but I just want to introduce our speaker here is Amanda McFadden. And Amanda and I met a few months ago at a local Young Living workshop that we had in the area. And she and I both were speakers at that. And I sat in on her lecture and was blown away by the knowledge that she has and her teaching ability. I just enjoyed it. And I just wanted to bring her to the rest of our group and let everybody else enjoy her knowledge. Amanda is a licensed massage therapist and cranial sacral therapist and a holistic guru. She has over 18 years experience in the wellness industry. And she also can do raindrop for those of the locals. They're always trying to find someone that can do raindrop. She can do that.
I'm sure most of you know, and kind of the frequency that if you were to, put God on a frequency, I think that would be his. But I love frequencies, been doing energy medicine now for, 18 years. First got, of course, introduced to the wonderful world of essential oils with the thieves oil. I think maybe a lot of people have started with that, or maybe lavender or tea tree. Tea tree is another common one. And then kind of when Young Living started blossoming, I didn't even really know that there was like all of these oils and these wonderful tools that we can use for medicine instead of modern medicine's version of synthetic. So, a synthetic form is what they're doing. They're just copying the frequency and kind of tricking the body to think that is in there, whatever it might be, whether it's calcium, whether it's estrogen, what have you. And it's definitely better to get it from a God-made, plant-made base rather than a synthetic form. So I guess that kind of started my journey a little bit more into the holistic world. And then I've healed a lot of things over the past 20 years I broke my legs at one point and used energy medicine. I've had kidney infections and used energy medicine. I've healed chronic menstrual cycles, chronic allergies. So I really believe in the power of frequency, and I really believe like the more that you believe in it and the more that you will it with your brain, really magic can happen. So you want me to go ahead and go
Awesome.
into everything?
You go
Are you ready?
ahead. The computer is running slow. I'll try to catch up as soon as I can.
Okay.
Just go ahead.
So today we're going to be talking about a couple different things. One is understanding processes, including growth, development, metabolism, how your body gets energy from foods, from what you eat, sexual function, reproduction, and your mood. When glands do not produce the right amount of hormones, the disease develops and affects you in many aspects of your life. All right, she's got that up. So I was going to go into the endocrine system. I don't know how familiar everybody is with the endocrine system, but they're glands throughout our whole entire body that are producing all of these different hormones to do all of these functions. So most people aren't really too familiar with that system. I really believe it's one of the missing links in our healthcare system today, because there is an endocrinologist. I just don't think most people seek them, or most people think that their problem is coming from the endocrine system, when in fact, if you were to heal that system, I feel like a lot of other things would go into balance. I was gonna, on the slide she has here, she's about to pull it up now. We'll be able to see the endocrine system, and I was kind of going to go over that a little bit with you, and then I was going to get into some of the endocrine disruptor chemicals. I think she's got it. There it is. All right. So we have the hypothalamus, the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, the thyroid and parathyroid, the thymus, the stomach, the liver, the pancreas, your adrenals, your kidneys, your ovaries, your uterus, and then also in males, the testes. All of these produce different hormones, and here is a list of those hormones. And then if you can go to the next slide for me, Tina. And then here is a slide of all the different hormones and then the roles that they play in our system. So if you want to like Google this later, or maybe snap, a screenshot, you can kind of read over each one of these, but I'll go over them real quickly. So prolactin is in the pituitary gland, FSH is also in the pituitary gland, and LH is in the pituitary gland. We produce melatonin in the pineal gland. Active vitamin D is actually produced in your kidneys. The thyroid hormones are, of course, produced in the thyroid. Cortisol, which is our stress hormone, is produced in the adrenal glands. SHBH is in our liver. Adrenaline is again in the adrenal glands. Insulin is produced in the pancreas. Serotonin in the gut, which a lot of people don't know that. Serotonin and dopamine are both produced in the gut, and then they travel up the vagus nerve, which is our longest nerve, into our brain, and that's like our happy feeling hormones. So if your gut's out of balance, then typically you're going to have, your happy, your mood. Some people will scream anxiety, depression, ADHD, a lot of these symptoms that are coming from the brain. Then there's also progesterone, which is in the ovaries, and then testosterone, which is also made in the ovaries and in the adrenal glands. And then estrogen is in the ovaries as well. So if you want to go to the next slide. So now we're going to talk about some of the things that mess up the endocrine system and why I believe the endocrine system is so out of balance, like in the world that we live in today. So as we're going through this, I just want to kind of tell everybody it's more important to focus minimal on the overall contact with these chemicals rather than stressing over any single exposure. We're all coming in contact with these. So instead of kind of getting overwhelmed with the idea of all of these toxins, it's better to kind of do something proactively so that these aren't messing up your particular system. All right, if you want to go to the next slide. So endocrine disruptors or chemicals or EDCs. These are some of the 6 common endocrine disruptors, and y'all can kind of read over that if you like, as I'm kind of going over my notes here. So endocrine disruptors or chemicals or EDCs can be hidden in your beauty and cleaning products, your cookware, and even your fresh produce that you're getting from the store. These potentially toxic chemicals do exactly what their name suggests. They enter our bodies, they interfere with our hormones, and they mess up the messenger molecule like estrogen or serotonin charge within our biological processes. So think about like your menstrual cycle or our internal networks like your metabolism or your sleep cycle operating seamlessly. Because EDCs were only identified in the 1990s, they still exist in many of the products that we love and use every day, especially here in the US, because let's face it, regulation of these chemicals are really not non-existent, and over in Europe, a lot of these things that we are experiencing here in America is banned. So yet research increasingly shows that this has potential serious ramifications on many aspects of our health, from fertility to hormone or cancer. There are nearly 85,000 man-made chemicals in the world, many of which people are coming in contact with every single day. Only about 1% of them have been studied for safety. However, over 1,000 or more of these chemicals are EDCs based on our probable endocrine interfering properties. So what I'm trying to say is about 1,000 of them are directly affecting our endocrine system. There are several different ways in which EDCs can disrupt our inner ecosystems. Some chemicals actually mimic hormones. So in other words, you are putting on this perfume, or you're washing your hands, or, you're washing your dishes, you're cleaning your toilet. Whenever I first started trying to get chemical clean, I was like, oh, it's not that big of a deal that I'm not using, stuff on my clothes. And then I was thinking, what are you talking about? Like, our biggest organ is our skin, and then I'm putting that right on my body, and let's just say it gets wet or whatever, it's still being absorbed into the body, and can cause long time issues. So the other way that endocrine disruptors block the effects of a hormone and other directly stimulate or inhabit the endocrine system and cause overproduction or underproduction of hormones. So for example, let's just say that you're producing like way too much estrogen. A lot of people today have kind of become like estrogen dominant. I'm sure y'all have heard those things, or testosterone dominant, especially for women. We don't want to be testosterone dominant. That's going to bring out things like anger and irritability and things that really in our everyday life, we don't need that there, because we're doing like a lot of things to take care of children, take care of our husbands, in the field. I feel like, in 2023, women are kind of rising, and we're going to be having more of an influence, I think, over the world here soon. And so we definitely need like our endocrine system and our mood in check, All right, if you want to go on to the next one. So it's more important these are some of the common endocrine disruptor chemicals that are found in most beauty products. They say that if you're not using clean products, that a woman in general, before we leave the house with everything that we put on our body, whether it's toothpaste, makeup, putting stuff in our hair, taking a shower, that we come in contact with 30,000 chemicals normally before we leave our house. So super important. I think if you're going to start changing, in the ditch and switch, kind of maybe start with something that you're putting on your skin first. All right. And if you want to go to the next one. Oh, okay. So I was going to also say that it's more important to minimize overall contact with these chemicals rather than stressing about any single one. I just want to kind of say that overall, and that's why that I think most of us has become Young Living members, and why the ditch and switch is so important. And like I was saying, some people, whenever you're introducing the ditch and switch, they might say, well, it's not really affordable and I can't do my whole entire house. So what I tell people when they say that is to focus on one thing per month, whether it's your kitchen, then the bathroom, and then, by 6 months to a year, they've kind of already switched over. And then every time they need that product again, they're buying it. And then it doesn't seem to be so so much cost effective, especially right now with the rise and everything that's going up. I would also like to add in that, that some people, whenever they're saying, these products are expensive, like this stuff is all concentrated. So, I mean, like me, a bottle of Thieves might last me, if I'm not putting it in my mop thing with my mop all the time, which I do, either 6 months to a year, depending on how much I'm using it, So even though compared to maybe going and buying some of these fake products that they have on the market, that's the other thing. At least in Young Living, we have we have a seal promise to you that the things that we are saying are holding up to be true. And that's the kind of the difference with the labels in the United States is you can go by, Method or what's some of the other 7 Generations. And they're saying that these things are chemical free. They're saying these things are safe. But if you start to Google some of the ingredients that they have on there, especially a PFA or PFE, those are cancer causing ingredients. So if you're using a little bit of them over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, not only is it messing up the endocrine system, but you can start getting serious health concerns and serious health issues like cancer.
Mm.
Now let's talk about some of the supplements and some of the ways that we can prevent these kind of issues in our own life. The first one that I'm going to start off with is Aculine. This is super important for gut health and proper pH balance of your gut health. A lot of people kind of really don't understand gut health. We have over 26 different bacteria in our gut. And so just like we're trying to drink coffee, if you're someone that likes to have, a soda every once in a while or a glass of wine, and also breads, cheeses, beef, pork. These are all acidic foods and acidic beverages. So what I would recommend is just carrying around one of those alkaline packets. If you know that you're going to eat these things, go ahead and take the packet with some water, and then you're eating the things, and then you're still going to have that proper pH balance. The next one is Jiva powder. Jiva powder is rich in spinach, rice, and beets. It's going to help the liver in doing its very important and very difficult job to detox from all the toxins that we're coming in contact with on a daily basis. If you're experiencing any of the following symptoms, low energy, you're not sleeping well, you have anxiety, you have depression, you have headaches, you have body aches, you have intestinal issues, that is the body's way of trying to tell you that there's something going on with your liver. It might be a good idea to take this supplement for about 3 months and then see how you feel after that. If you feel like you felt a lot better taking the supplement, because maybe you are coming in contact with a lot of these toxins, then just keep taking the supplement because it's going to help the liver to do its job, which is to flush all that stuff out. Because we're coming in contact with so many environmental things. So there's some things like our products at home, our facial products, all these things, we can control that. But there are a lot of environmental toxins that we have absolutely no control of that we're also coming in contact with on a daily basis. That's why I think Jiva powder is a great supplement to take to assist the liver. The next one is going to be Cortistop. Cortistop is going to help also balance, it says the glandular system specifically in women. I think that's because cortisol is produced mainly in the ovaries. But I think men also make it as well. And, we all live stressful lives, whether it's in work or everyday functions. And I think this might be one of the most important things that we can combat and make sure that it is balanced and it's that, stress isn't taking over our body. The root cause of most disease starts with stress, whether it's emotional stress, whether it's physical stress, whether, it's from a marriage or your work or what have you, or just the world around us, honestly, can be a little overwhelming and stressful, especially with COVID and the politics and them trying to kind of divide us. Overall, I just think that in order for us to live a more happy life, this could be kind of considered like our happy pill and make us feel wonderful and stress-free. Who doesn't want that? All right, the next one that I picked was Endogize. This helps support and helps balance hormones. And I would say that it's a plus, 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 because it's going to support your endocrine system. And it also contains ashwagandha. I don't know how many people are familiar with ashwagandha, but it is an old, ancient herb that's been used for so many years. It's kind of overall for like mental health support. It also will help anti-aging, so that it's been proven that people that take ashwagandha over long periods of time will just age better. They'll have less wrinkles, they'll feel better, they'll be happier, they'll have less stress. So I also would highly recommend maybe this being part of your supplement regimen. The next one is going to be Progesterone Plus. This serum is specifically designed for women, and it's made to naturalize progesterone so it's from wild yam to promote well-being and feelings of relaxation, harmony, and balance. With estrogen dominance, I was talking about a little bit earlier, this would be a great way to combat estrogen dominance and kind of bring more important harmony in that system. It is also designed to help with other bodily functions. Plus, it has a great smell and honestly could be used as a perfume as well. Okay, the next one is going to be PD, the 80-20. This also supports the endocrine system, but this one contains two very important hormones, DHEA and progesterone. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Sorry if I did that. But these are used for fatigue and for increasing energy. It is also used to combat things like Alzheimer's disease, enhanced memory. And then if you've ever had any like intense traumas, whether that's emotional traumas or physical traumas, or you've had any like injuries as well, as improving stress and just overall immunity. This would benefit someone that has a history in their family of getting Alzheimer's or dementia, because most of the things in the environment are turning on your genetic pre-existing things. So like if your family pre-existently had cancer, pre-existently had pancreatic cancer, or any of the things that are directly affecting our endocrine system, I would definitely be taking things like this, so that when those chemicals and those endocrine disruptors had turned on these genetic formations, that now you're taking something that's going to help either build another pathway or just make that function where it's not functioning properly, and then hopefully prevent you from getting some of the diseases that your family, you inherited from your family. And then the next one is going to be the GLF Vitality. The gallbladder and liver function is super important. So if there was an oil that I'd be putting kind of up in this area, so like underneath the right here, that's where the or is it left? No, right. I always get that mixed up, but it's kind of like right in here, the liver and the gallbladder. The liver is all, as most people know, what you use to detox with, and the gallbladder is kind of like a storage container. So if the liver's like, oh, I'm not ready to process that yet, there is a valve that opens up, and then it dumps the bile and the excess, waste into the gallbladder, and then the gallbladder kind of holds on to it until the liver says that it's ready. So most of the time, if you're already kind of over toxic, your gallbladder is going to need just as much as assistance as the liver is going to need. And then it's also got all these great, helichrysum, celery, hibiscus, grapefruit, spearmint, and lindum, which I don't know too much about that one, but I'm sure it's a great oil. All right, next one. Valor. Valor is one of my favorite oils for balance of your mood. It's one of those oils that if you are just not feeling well, if you're having, stress emotionally, just put it on your wrist, put it under your, your nose right here. And I recently got the little lavender aura rings, and I wore it around for a little while. And then after the lavender had kind of wore off, I put the Valor on there, and then I wore it around in there, and oh my goodness, I felt so good all day long. Ooh, and it helps to calm children. Maybe I need to start using that a little bit more. All right, next one. All right, the next one is Joy. Joy is just one that I think I use a lot at my office. It's also, uplifting scent. It's a good mood booster. It kind of has this exotic fragrance, like it says here. It promotes peace and it eases the nervous system. And I think because I name my business Be Balanced, and I want everybody to be balanced. And just with everything that's going on in the world today, Joy is probably one of my go-to things that I put in the diffuser at work. And then the next one. Sorry, I didn't list all these after I gave them to you. Oh, and then this one is just kind of explaining, it's like a will kind of explaining the different essential oils. And I'm sure a lot of y'all are familiar with them. So trees are kind of a little bit more grounding and give you a little bit more stabilizing and centering, which is very, very, very kind of good in the world that we live in today. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of the word centering and balancing, but our energetic body, which is different than our, spiritual body, it kind of comes in like through our crown chakra, and then into our brow, and then into our throat, and then into our heart chakra. Then it's going to kind of go into our solar plexus, and then there's a base and a root. And so like the trees, like if you're just kind of feeling off all the time, like any of the tree oils would be a good one to use to kind of feel really grounded and secure, like in who you are. The flowers are going to be a little more like releasing, assuring, allowing. So if you're having any areas and any problems in those areas, those would be the oils that I would use for that. If you're wanting to try to kind of clarify a situation, or you're going through something and you need like a refresh or an awakening, I would use some of the herbs. Some of the spices are going to be a little bit more energizing, a little more stimulating, and add a little bit more vigorating, a little bit more invigorating. So it's just going to kind of like wake you up. It's going to keep you going. So the cinnamons, any of like the spicy ones. And then the citruses are going to be a little bit more brightening, uplifting, and cheering. So if you kind of need a cheerleader, or you're kind of down that day and you got something going on, I would definitely go for the citruses. And you could always just drop them in your water. That's a very good way of getting those in. And then the next one. All right, so I was talking a little bit about the chakras, and so I just wanted to kind of show y'all this particular image. So these are the chakras. These are where they're located, and while they're so important to the endocrine system, and why I'm kind of talking about it in this particular talk, is because every single chakra is actually linked to like the pineal gland. A lot of our glands. So let's just say, like, for instance, right? Like I'm going to use the crown chakra, which is hooked to our higher power. So like I'm a cranial sacral therapist. Cranial sacral therapy is igniting the body's ability to heal itself. We're all given certain amount of energy, which is, kind of comes in this way. So let's say that you get into a car accident and your head hits the windshield, right? You all of a sudden have this injury. and this trauma, and it's going to affect, the crown chakra. It's going to affect your ability of becoming higher, of communicating, of listening. In cranial sacral therapy, also, all of our cranial bones are free moving. A lot of people think that our skull is kind of sutured all together and it's like froze together. It actually all has an energy and a movement. And so in like cranial sacral therapy, if I was to align the frontal bone, I also would align the occipital bone. I place my hands just like this. It's only like a nickel worth of pressure. And then I'm going to adjust this area. And that's also going to adjust the crown. And then as I'm doing cranial sacral therapy, I will kind of go into all of these different energy centers, make sure that they're balanced and functioning, because if they're out of balance, then our endocrine system is also going to be out of balance. So not only are there chemicals out there that can mess up our endocrine system, there's also other things like in our energetic field that can also have effects of that. All right, now I'm going to kind of open up to any questions that anybody might have. I don't know how you do that normally, Tina. Oh, the Zytoscan. I did want to talk a little bit about the Zytoscan. I know a lot of people probably get them done. I would say I've probably scanned about 600 people or more now in my career. And one of the main things that are out of balance a lot in those scans is our endocrine system. So that's why I was saying earlier that, it's one of the missing links in our society. It's one of the missing links kind of in overall health and wellness. So I feel like if people would start kind of looking there, some of their question and answers would already kind of come in. I don't know if a lot of people know how to read the Zytoscan, so I was going to kind of go over that a little bit, and that's why I picked this particular image. So as we're looking at this, that range that's in the middle, that 6.23, that would be our homeostasis. So if everything was perfect, that's where we would want everything to be. We'd want our diet and nutrition to be there. Of course, like our toxic stress could be lower. It doesn't have to be straight in homeostasis. We'd kind of want our hydration to be in homeostasis. Of course, you'd want your mental and emotional stress to be kind of lower or around homeostasis, sleep in that area, and inflammation can be around in that area. So if you ever get Zytoscanned, or if you ever need a Zytoscan, we actually offer that here at Be Balanced and at the Full Armor Center or Gulf Coast Family Chiropractic. Katie, I have the balance now, and I actually have an extra hand cradle. So I don't know if a lot of people know this, but I can actually send you the hand cradle and then have you download this remote screen, and then that screen comes onto my screen here in Gulf Shores. It doesn't matter where you're at, and I can actually scan you from anywhere. So if there's anybody out there that needs a scan and needs me to go over it with you, I'm only charging $30 to do so. It takes about 30 minutes, and I'm kind of I guess you could kind of say like a medium when it comes to like help and like going over stuff with somebody. I can kind of feel like even in your body, like even not being with you, kind of, and looking over the Zytoscan, I can kind of tell you or pinpoint where that root cause might be, or where you really need to focus on to get healthy.
Awesome. Yes, the Zytoscan, it's amazing what it picks up. I have an Atovi, which is not as detailed as what the Zytoscan gets in, but it as I tell my people, it reads you like a book. And
it really does.
It's amazing.
So I have people that when they come into my office, I don't even ask them anything that's going on with them. I literally just put them on the Zytoscan. I print out the paper, and then I start going over it, and they're like, how in the world do you know all that? It's really cool. And then after that, after you blow their mind, they're like, okay, I'm hooked. Whatever you tell me after that, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So here's a little bit of my information, my contact information, my website, my email, and then my personal cell phone number. So if anybody needs to contact me after this and needs any help in their health journey, I would be very delighted to help you.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much, Amanda. I'm going to. Okay. Everybody got this? You can screenshot it. And I'm going to stop sharing now. And well, anyway, we got questions. If you don't mind typing it into the chat, for now, and we do have some giveaways too.
Yeah.
We'll do that.
So is there a lot of people on that are local?
We've got a few people on here that are local, and then
Okay, I was gonna do where you can come in and maybe get a foot bath. I do the ionic detox foot bath here at Be Balanced, and so I'd like to give away that, and then also the Beamer mat that I have.
oh, cool. Well,
Yeah.
let's there are a couple questions in the chat already.
Okay.
Someone asked, what is the SHBG? That was back on that first screen share that we did. With the
Let me go look at that.
I just wanted to know what it stood for. What does SHBG stand for? Is it like?
That's let's see that one. Hold on, let me find that.
I just don't know what that is. So
yeah, I don't do a lot BG with that one.
You better answer it.
That's sex hormone binding globulin.
Yes.
say that again.
Sex hormone binding globulin.
Well, okay. Thank you so much.
Let's see. You've heard GLF referred to as gallbladder and liver.
Yeah, so it kind of has a lot to do with the genes, with some of the genes and how they adopt into cell transfer.
If you use EndoFlex, would you also suggest EndoJazz at the same time?
Well, it's interesting. Whenever I was kind of going through all these, they do kind of all seem like they work and function in the same way, are going to help out the same system. So that's kind of why doing something like the Zytoscan, because like what could help me might not help you. You might not digest that particular thing very well. It might not absorb well in you. You might have some type of genetic, thing already going on where you're not absorbing things, or your intestines. So, I mean, I think that's why it's kind of good to get scanned quite regularly. That way, like what the body is asking for and what the body needs. I recently did a genetic test with a guy that had just vials. And so it was like the genetic code of the vial. And he was like muscle testing me. I don't know if anybody's ever got muscle tested or used applied to kinesiology. But if you put like an oil, for instance, which I mean, I don't have anybody that can push my hand down. But let's just say the Zytoscan is kind of like an applied kinesiology. If I need this oil, and somebody tries to push my hand down, it's not going to push down. It's going to like kind of lock. So a good way, if you have these supplements, you can kind of just put it here to your chest, and you can have somebody kind of try to push your arm down, and then that will tell you which oil best suits you or which supplement best suits you. So all of them kind of can work in the same system, but just like I would kind of say in modern medicine, none of us fit in a box, so what might be good for you might not be good for me. So I answer the question.
Yeah. And you have the Zyto Balance, correct?
The balance, yeah. So it's going to print out like a 18 to 20 something page report telling me all the things that are out of balance. It's going to suggest some of the oils that are going to kind of balance out each system. And then everything's done by like a number. And so like if let's just say like it's saying that you need a specific oil or specific supplement and your number's like in the thousands, that means that your body is like literally depleted and starving for that particular supplement. So, I mean, if you're reading the Zytoscan, everything's by numbers, and that's how the computer is able to analyze it. And that's how the frequency is coming, in and out. So like the hand cradle is just able to pick up with that gavionic skin response, the frequency that our body puts out and that the computer is sending in.
Cool. How do you recommend using GLF Vitality?
That's the essential oil. I would recommend putting that right over the liver in the gallbladder, like rubbing it on this right on, over where it is.
Yeah.
Or if you like more of like doing things on the feet, it would kind of be like into this area right there on the foot. That would be like the reflexology point that you could put it on then, and then it's energetically going straight into that organ as well.
If you put it over your liver or not, does that need to be diluted?
I don't think that one needs to be diluted. It
Yeah,
didn't have any of the hot ones like the
okay.
oregano. I mean, helichrysum, all of those I would put directly on my skin, you know.
Okay. Yeah.
So just the hot ones I wouldn't put, you know, directly on the skin. Everything else I think would be fine.
Okay. You know, talking about endocrine disruptors, hormones, and all that, I know a big issue that us older women have is hot flashes. And is there anything you can address about that? Maybe.
Yeah, I mean, hot flashes are definitely like a signal, right? So, I mean, like everything that the body sends off is going to be like a signal to kind of tell you, hey, body, like, hey, there's something going on here, you know? So if you are experiencing hot flashes, I would highly recommend that you kind of look into your endocrine system and look into those hormones. A lot of times when you go to your OBGYN or some of your, more, general primary people, they're going to test and they're going to say, oh, you're fine. There's nothing going on there. I would take it either to a functional medicine person, or I would put your hormones in a box, so I would list every single one of them. And then I would put their little scale, because they have a scale. Let's just say the scale is 1 to 20. And like, if you're normal, you're in the 5 to 10, right? This is normal. Well, if in that little box, all of yours are like this and this and this and this and this, and none of them are like, some of them are low, some of them are high, some of them are okay. I would say that there's something wrong with your hormones and that they need to be addressed. I feel like they're kind of missed in the modern medicine world, and you go in and you're like, I'm experiencing all this stuff, and then they want to just give you estrogen, So, I mean, honestly, they're making women estrogen dominant by giving them. And there's other things that you could be using. Progesterone plus would be a good one. Black cohosh. What are some of the other ones?
Fluorescence, clary sage.
Yes, clary sage. Clary sage is a really good one. I would definitely use that one. And what did you say the other one was?
Fluorescence.
Fluorescence. I haven't used that one, but yeah. I mean, I'm sure that you would probably know a little bit better than me. I haven't went through that yet, so I haven't used it personally for myself.
Yeah, those are oils for the feminine. So any other questions? Yes, no. Okay. All right. Well, let's go ahead and do some giveaways, and then afterwards, if you have any questions that you want to ask after the recording, Amanda's agreed to stay on and answer those questions for you. But let's do a giveaway. And I've asked Amanda to have some questions concerning her talk as a giveaway. So the first person who types in the answer in the chat will get that prize. And I actually have a bottle of joy.
Ooh, look at there. Yay.
Giveaway. And I also have a nice little oil bag that says I love oils on it. You open it up and it's got some little holders to hold them up straight up here.
Oh, that's nice. They don't spill.
Anyway, so the person who wins this first will get the choice. So we'll have 2 questions here.
So I picked a couple ones just to kind of keep y'all thinking about this particular talk. So what organ controls melatonin?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was kind of in that first draft. Yes.
The pineal gland, Michelle.
Yes.
Yay, Michelle. Okay. What do you want? You got first choice.
Joy.
Joy, yes. This is my most favorite oil. It's one of the first ones I use, and I know you either love it or you hate it. I love it.
I
I
love
haven't had it in a while.
just bathe in joy. So yeah, this was my
It always
gateway.
makes you think of like the song "Joy, Joy, 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 Joy in my heart." Joy.
Michelle, if you will text me your address, please.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
All right. Next person. Next
All
question.
right. So, what does the endocrine disruptors mimic in the human body?
What does it mimic?
What do endocrine disruptors mimic in the human body?
Looks like Gail Fowler, first one is did estrogen is her answer.
Yes. So what is estrogen?
What is estrogen?
Hormones. That's it.
Hormones. Yes, everything's a hormone. It's a
Endocrine disruptors mimic hormones. So that's why getting, in contact with all of these chemicals can cause so much problem for our endocrine system.
okay. So who won, Amanda?
That was Renita. Is that correct?
Renata?
Renata? Sorry.
Renata, yay! And I know where you live, so I'll just drop it off to you sometime. So congratulations, Renata. Cool. All
So
right.
are both of y'all locals?
Renata
Michelle?
is a local. Yes.
Yeah, okay, well, I'll like send you a foot bath as well if you want to come in and experience an ionic detox foot bath.
Cool.
I live
And
in Coleman, so I would have to pass on that one.
What did you say?
I live in Coleman up
Oh,
north.
Coleman. Well, if you're ever down this way and come to the beach, come
Okay.
check me out.
All right.
all right.
Come visit
Okay.
me, Michelle, and then you can go down there.
There you go.
So very cool. Okay. Anything else before we say goodbye to the recording? Anything? Okay, well, I'm gonna say so long and cut the recording off, and we will continue with the discussion here. And